Hi, I'm Poppy from Jules, and you're watching the podcast where nostalgia comes alive. It's Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. Roll it!
Welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, where nostalgia comes alive. Join Jake and his friends on a journey through pop culture of the past, where they interview professionals in the worlds of acting, directing, writing, puppeteering, and so much more. Who will they be chatting with today? Find out in this Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode.
Hello everyone, welcome to this episode of Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, where nostalgia comes alive. Happy to here with us. Thank you for joining. As always, I'm your host, Jake Steffenbach. Me today, as always, our co-host, Chris Bixby and Matt Bingle. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
We are doing good.
How are you, Jake?
Doing great, Matt. Thank you for asking.
Yes, we got a fun interview for you folks. Jake, why don't you tell us a little bit about the interview that they'll be expecting today?
Thank you, Chris. Yes, we've got a fun interview for you folks today. Joining us is non-binary children's artist Jules Hoffman, recently known from Songs for Littles. We chat with Jules about their beginnings in the music industry, transitioning from rock music to children's music, their latest releases, and a lot more. Enjoy the chat. See you then.
Yes, here it is.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show, the podcast where nostalgia comes alive. Today, we have with us the wonderful Jules Hoffman. How about you here, Jules?
Hey, everyone. How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Happy to have you here.
Happy to have you here. Happy you folks are with us too.
Yes, likewise. So, to kick things off, we know who you are, but for those who haven't, could you tell our audience a bit about yourself and what you do?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Jules. I write kids music, I perform kids music, and I think I'm probably most famous for being on the Miss Rachel YouTube series, and now I am in the process of releasing my own kids music album that comes out in a few weeks. So yeah, that's
Awesome.
what I do.
Wonderful,
Nice.
which of course we'll talk about that later on. So.
Yep.
Absolutely. So now, before getting into music, what was your childhood like and how did you grow up?
Yeah, so I grew up in Fort Worth, Texas, and I grew up around music. My grandparents were very musical. I probably wrote my first song on an old Casio keyboard with like the song bank, like the preloaded songs. I would write lyrics to those at the age of 5 and was kind of just like super into music from a very young age, and specifically like writing my own songs. And yeah, I grew up in a very loving family, and I guess that's kind of boring, you know. I just grew up I grew up in a very loving family and environment, and I feel like my passion for music was always encouraged. So yeah, I went to music school and graduated, moved to New York, and kind of started my career as a children's songwriter.
Nice.
Oh, that's great. I want to briefly want to just kind of like as a nostalgia type of maybe because I'm sure you'll definitely appreciate for me asking this question. But like growing up, do you have like any like some sort of like favorite childhood memories or some of your like favorite cartoons or shows growing up or?
Absolutely. So I was born in 92, so I was a 90s kid, and we didn't really have cable, but we had like the classic channels. And so I think I would watch like whatever your local channel is. I would have like Pepper Ann and Doug and like all of the shows.
SpongeBob, Sesame Street,
Oh yeah,
Arthur, Hey Arnold.
I was obsessed with SpongeBob, Hey Arnold, Sesame Street, Rocket Power. Like I would go over to my friends' houses to watch Nickelodeon because they had cable. And that was the best. Like we would just watch TV all day and play video games. And so yeah, Arthur is on like PBS is what I grew up on. PBS, anything. Zoom. Do y'all remember Zoom?
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, you got to chat with one of the kids on that series like not too long ago.
that's awesome because I loved that show. Like I remembered, and then I ended up living in that zip code at one point. That like Boston, Mass.
Yeah.
02134.
wow.
Yeah. And
Wow.
they got to chat with lots of amazing Sesame Street puppeteers, which all
I
look
love
such
that out of
wonderful and some of the voice actors on Arthur, even including Mark Brown, when we did talk to him to talk about the new series Hop, which such a wonderful new series. All of
Wow.
them, they're great shows overall.
Yeah, I definitely grew up on all of those. Yeah, I feel like like even some of the theme songs that they're just so in my head, and I want to create like a medley for
Right.
like a video soon because I like Zaboomafoo.
Oh,
Oh,
I
Spoon
watch
Too,
like
yeah.
everything. Yeah, I grew up on
Yeah, me
TV.
too.
I grew up on TV. Like TV raised me.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
it's
lovely.
great. It's
absolutely
lovely.
fantastic. So, did you always want to make music as a career of some sort?
Yeah, I think I actually had like not as a kid. I feel like, as a kid, you're given pretty like specific jobs. Like, oh, you could be a firefighter or a doctor. Like,
Hmm.
so I wasn't thinking about a professional like musician as my career, but once I was being really honest with myself in high school about like where I wanted to go to college, which there was like a lot of like pressure to make sure you went to college, like even like I don't know, early 2000s. And so I was like, I have to go to college, but I don't want to go to a regular school. I want to go to music school. And that was just kind of like, yeah, foot on the pedal. And I always thought I'd be more behind the scenes, like songwriter. I've written for some movies and done a lot of songwriting work behind the scenes, but it's very different like putting myself in front now. So yeah, I wasn't expecting it. That's what I'll say. I wasn't expecting to be a professional musician and seen by the public as much.
Interesting.
Nice. So I'm kind of curious. Are there any musical artists who would like inspire you to want to get into music?
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, I did grow up on like pop punk and kind of like the Avril Lavigne, Good Charlotte,
Oh
Oh
Blink
yeah.
182 era.
2005, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I like grew up
Um,
with that music, but I feel like whenever I heard Regina Spektor for the first time, that the Fidelity album
Mhm.
was really inspiring to me because it was the first time I kind of heard like this different style of songwriting. Um, so I feel like Regina Spektor was like a pretty big motivator for me. There was an artist called Anna Nalick who had like a few hits,
Hmm.
and I really vibed with her music. Um,
um, what about
yeah.
James Taylor,
Oh yeah.
Alanis, Queen, and
Oh yeah, Queen was one of my first albums that I had like the CD, and that just blew my mind. Like, why are there opera voices happening in this rock song? Like, yeah, Queen. Actually, all of those that you mentioned, James Taylor and Carole King, my mom and dad kind of brought into my life. So I would listen to that with them. And yeah, Joni Mitchell. Mm, yeah. And now as
Nice.
I listen to a little bit different stuff now, but those are like
right.
the people that brought me into music for sure.
Wonderful. So now, before your children's music career started, you were a part of the rock band Boketto the Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Can you kind of talk a bit about that?
Yeah, for sure. So Boketto the Wolf was a project that started in Boston, Massachusetts, and it was kind of comprised of some Berklee College of Music graduates and people that I had met in my time at school there. And those songs were like completely like a piece of my heart. Like I wrote most of the songs for the band, but towards the end of our time together, right before the pandemic, which kind of broke us apart, and it's like a lot of bands, we were starting to collaborate all together. And even though some of those songs are not released, they're which we might release them soon, but yeah, that project meant so much to me. And right before the pandemic, we were like so close to signing a record deal, and I feel like it was fate that we didn't take the deal because,
Hmm.
or that we didn't, it didn't finalize because then the pandemic happened and there would have been no way to pay back that money.
Right. Gotcha. So now, what was the transition like from being in a rock band to now becoming a children's artist?
Yeah, so I started writing kids' music when my first nephew was born because I was like, well, I'm a songwriter. I want to write him songs that really encapsulate different types of messages and aren't just like the same like Wheels on the Bus and, kind of like these kid songs that can drive us mad sometimes. And so I started writing kind of kids music that had kind of an underline of like a big feeling or topic, or message in it. And so that happened in about 2014. I started writing kids music. I moved to New York in about 2017. And that's like when I started to really try to find work where I could like play my songs. And now I feel like the rock band is actually the same band that recorded on the children's music album. And the reason for that was really to bring in an element of familiarity for myself, but also so that the audience could like the adults that have children would also enjoy the music, and it wasn't just like tailored towards kids,
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Gotcha. So one of the many projects you're best known for is the Songs for Littles series. Could you kind of describe to our audience what exactly Songs for Littles is?
Yeah, so Songs for Littles is a YouTube series that is kind of a in-person music class, that was actually it's an in-person music class feel for YouTube. So originally Rachel and I were in like doing music classes in the Upper West Side, for a few families, and then we were like, let's make this for a bigger, or like let's see if this can reach more people, and the best way to do that, as we know, is YouTube. And so we uploaded it on there, and the pandemic happened. People were trapped at home, needed some good content for their kids that was like wholesome and felt real, and I think they stumbled upon what is Songs for Littles, live music, or not a live music class, but it was kind of all taped in one session, and has since then become more of a production and cut up and like green screen and stuff like that.
Nice.
That's wonderful. That's actually a perfect transition. On your YouTube channel, you produce a series of educational resource videos.
Mm-hmm.
What goes into making them?
Oh, yes. So, are you talking about specifically like the money stuff, or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I got asked to help write some content for teaching financial literacy to kids, because I don't know about y'all, but that was like really missing from my public school education, is like
Yep.
how to understand money. Like whenever I had to file
Yeah, I can
taxes for the
understand
first
that,
time,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I was like freaking out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like such a big deal to like talk about money. Like I feel like it's this big like no, don't talk about it. And I thought it was an awesome project, something I could get behind, and we ended up filming for like a week in Wisconsin, and like took over an ice cream shop and really made this whole story with my puppet Poppy, who y'all can meet later. She was kind of owning this ice cream shop with me, and we kind of worked through like, oh, what happens when something breaks, or like how do we make money? We have to charge people. We can't just give away ice cream for free. And like, and then like how to give back to our community. And we just covered like all of these topics, from like having to take out a loan to fix something in the ice cream shop to, yeah, just like the everyday flow of money to like digital purchases on a tablet. Like we tried to cover everything that a kid might encounter with money as they're growing up.
Nice. So now, throughout your career, you've had the great pleasure of collaborating with other children's artists, including Laurie Berkner and, of course, as you mentioned, Miss Rachel. How did you first kind of begin working with them?
Yeah, so actually Laurie Berkner I started working with because of the financial literacy project. We were asked to collaborate and co-write a song for our giving segment of the series, like how to give money or give back to your community. And that just felt like a really good topic for us to collaborate on. And so that was the first time we wrote together. And since we developed a friendship, I was able to, see if Laurie wanted to sing on one of my songs that came out around the holidays called Giving is Receiving. And yeah, we have a very sweet friendship. And that was how Laurie and I got connected through the financial literacy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And what about Miss Rachel? How did you first begin working with her?
So I moved to New York, and like I said, I was looking for jobs where I could play kids music because I was writing it, and I actually just responded to a Craigslist ad that was like,
Oh,
"Oh, I want someone to teach music with me." And this
Hmm.
is how New York
That's
works.
great.
Like no pictures, nothing, just like, just an ask in the job section, and I was like, "Okay, let's go." I'll go to the interview, see what's up. And again, it started like we were doing mostly in-person classes, and then recorded a few videos for her channel, which she was already starting to make some content for, but I think like the full
Yeah.
music class really like took things to the next level, because someone could put their kid in front of a class for 45 minutes or an hour, which was like that I don't think those long formats for kids content existed besides like TV and what we enjoy, Arthur and stuff.
nice.
Very true, very true. So you and Laurie also collaborated on various projects with the educational platform Small Legacies. Could you kind of talk a bit about the platform itself?
Sure, yeah. So Small Legacies is the people that do the financial literacy education, and they use a piggy bank that they sell. It's like a wooden piggy bank that has three sections of it. It's give, save, and spend. And this is like a very basic way to teach kids about, the basics of money. Like, oh, do you want to put money in your spend, your save, or your give? If you do a chore or find some coins on the ground. And so with the give, the save, the spend, those are kind of like our three anchors for the financial literacy project. And so Laurie and I decided to collaborate on the give portion. Felt kind of easier to like write a song about that, but I did write the rest of the music for the series, and I wrote a song about saving up for roller skates. And yeah, that collaboration. Let me know if you want any more on that.
I think we're good on that. Thank you very much for asking. I mean, oh my gosh. I mean, one of our funny enough, Laurie is actually one of our previous guests a while back. She's just the
She's the
best.
sweetest.
She's
She's
so
amazing.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's really has like this like such a classic like I don't know if this is the right word, like flagship. Like this is a children's music artist that like really is reminiscent of like Raffi and like some of
Yeah.
the bigger kids
Yeah.
musicians to me, like Laurie Berkner and like the dinosaur song. That's like one of my
Yeah,
Mhm.
we
most
are the dinosaurs.
Classic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
such
that's
a
one of my
classic.
most requested songs.
Oh,
Like
Is it really?
great.
like people ask me
And I
to
remember,
play that
I
one.
remember.
Wow.
I mean, personally, how I started knowing Laura was because of her appearances on Jack's Big Music Show,
Oh yeah.
which another
Mm.
wonderful show too. I
Yeah.
mean, Laurie, she's the best. So now moving on to more of your solo projects.
Mhm.
Earlier this year, you got to perform at the New York Hall of Science Museum on Earth Day. What was that like?
Oh yeah, that was okay. That was awesome. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect going into it. I was really like just hoping that there would be some people that came, and we didn't do like pre-sales for tickets. It was just like you go to the museum, and you pay for your admission to the museum, and then you get like a little thing that enters you into the music show. And all of the songs that we performed had to do something with like the earth, and we like paired it with some facts about like butterflies or crocodiles, like just different fun facts about the animals. But yeah, I walked out onto the stage. I had no idea what was gonna happen. I was like in this back room, like storage room, and I walked out, and there's like 300 people out there, and I was like, what just happened? Because I could hear them kind of going into the place, but I had no idea what was going to happen when I walked out and
Uh,
saw that like the auditorium was filled with people. very surprising. And I was like, whoa, okay, this is a big deal.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I saw that your YouTube channel recently you actually got to perform at the uh for the Pride Jam live show.
Yeah.
That was so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that was definitely like maybe one of my favorite shows I've ever played. And it's funny to like, yeah, to say that I've gotten to play a lot of really incredible shows, like with Boketto the Wolf, even as like a solo artist at different times. But that show was just like so much fun. The energy, the kids, the parents, the everyone there. It was such a good vibe. Such a good
That's
vibe.
wonderful.
Nice. Nice. So recently, of course, you released some new singles. Two of them include Pizza Party and It's Okay to Cry. What went into writing them?
Yeah, so the singles that we released are Pizza Party was the first single that we released, and I filmed a pretty extensive music video for it, you know, brought
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of
Love that music video too.
Yeah.
yeah, it was so much fun to spend like a whole day filming with friends and fans and anyone that was willing to come be in the music video. Yeah, so Pizza Party was kind of a big deal. We wanted to release it at the end of the school year to be like, you know, yay, Pizza Party, like you know how we
Yeah, like
had as
like end of
kids.
school year.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
End of
For
school.
party. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Mhm.
So that was like the end of the school year, which was in May. I think it came out May 24th. And then if we fast forward, like I was like through the summer, I'm gonna start releasing songs. And so the next one that actually came out was Caterpillar Butterfly Thing in June. And I kind of did that one for Pride Month, just because I think like queerness and like butterfly and transformation, like all of those things really go hand in hand. So then after Pride Month, I just released Crabby Crab, right at the end of Cancer season for any astrology nerds out there. And the next thing that's about to be released is the album, just the full thing. And that'll be right as people go back to school. So August 23rd, the album comes out. And that it's all part of the grand timing, you know? You get out of school, you have a pizza party. You go back to school, you have a Jules album.
That's wonderful. Oh my gosh, I love those singles, especially Pizza Party and It's Okay to Cry. I mean, they're so wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
You did an
So
amazing job on those.
yes, you absolutely did. So aside from singing the songs themselves, you were also instrumental in the making of the music videos as a producer, director, editor. What's it like getting to kind of work b behind the scenes? Like, could you kind of talk a bit about that aspect?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot that goes into obviously like video production and coordinating and like, you know, I was emailing a bunch of pizza places who wants us to come film in their pizza shop on a Friday. That's a really tough one. And yeah, it's a lot of coordinating, first of all. And second of all, I think it's just like having your friends and like I have so many talented friends and I love like bringing them into the projects that I'm doing. And so leading up to the Pizza Party music video, we had
Yes.
lots of meetings where we would like talk about the vision. We went through lots of different ideas for like the flow of the music video, the storyline, and we ended up even changing it like on the spot. Like we were supposed to have all these scenes of us in Central Park and like
Right.
announcing like in these
But
different
then the last
places.
minute thought, yeah.
It wasn't gonna happen. Like the weather wasn't cooperating as much, and so you just kind of roll with it, and you have to be quick on your feet. And because I was also like acting, and I was also the puppet actor for Dave, the pizza owner,
Huh.
I was like constantly being like checking the shot. I actually had like a phone view of like what the shot looked like underneath the pizza counter as I had Dave up on the pizza counter. So I could kind of see what was happening. And that was kind of interesting to like have to be performing, but also be like, okay, but can we just like, did we get this shot? Like, can we try that again? That's the weird part about being like maybe one of the directors or producers while you're also trying to be
Yeah.
the talent.
Yeah, and you and your producer got to be involved like instruments aspect for your songs too, which that was so cool. Since I mean, you both are like musicians, So I mean,
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
absolutely.
So you had mentioned Poppy earlier. How did Poppy come about?
Oh yeah, so Poppy was actually I was really curious about making puppets, like what was the process like to actually make a puppet. And
Oh,
so
that's
I
wonderful.
went to a this person named Erica, who owns a puppet shop called the Story Closet out of Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I was like, is there any way you could just teach me how to make a puppet? And she was like, sure. And so I came with one friend, and we both made puppets. And I made a puppet that turned out a little bit scarier than Poppy, kind of like
Oh.
Poppy's weird cousin. And my friend made Poppy. And my friend made Poppy, and I was like, I really like Poppy. And so my friend gave me Poppy because she was like, you actually do kids stuff, like you can have it. I just wanted to see how to make it. And I was like, great. So now
Oh, that's
Poppy is kind of really like my alter ego. Like she says all the things I can't say as like a teacher, an adult, but she can be this kid, like she can
Yeah.
be the kid that's like, what are you talking about? To a
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
whatever.
I want to clearly, ask, what was that aspect like for you again, doing the puppetry side, if that makes any sense
Yeah.
for Poppy and
Yeah.
and that character you did for Pizza Party music video too.
Yeah,
Talk
Dave.
a little bit about that if you want to. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I've always enjoyed doing voices. Like I grew up like imitating voices, and I think that's
Yeah,
like where it
like
really
we
started.
mentioned with Sesame Street. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like for whatever reason, my friends always want me to do the Woody the Woodpecker laugh, and I could do that really well. And like I just have always loved cartoons and voices, and even as a kid, puppets and like bag puppets. I don't know. It was like kind of hard to like have an actual like fancy puppet for
Yeah.
back in the day, but I've always been interested in it. And like whenever we would do the in-person music classes, whenever I do those with Rachel, like I always wanted to also be one of the puppets that she had, and so I would like, you know, try to grab onto some of the puppets to be the voice for the day. And that's kind of where it started for me. And after like having like a real puppet on my arm, I was like, oh yeah, I'm obsessed with this. I'm obsessed with like emoting and being a voice and like trying to really portray things with like the body, and even just like, what is Poppy thinking or feeling?
Oh, that's wonderful. Before we're gonna ask some last few questions, including your debut album, so it's so cool that like you like not just being what every children's artist, being like seeing running kids and all that, but you just want to have that more of an aspect, want to have more space to have Poppy, came along and do all those things. I mean, I really appreciate that. I'm sure a lot of children and adults alike will appreciate that, to have that fun and funny joy and all that. That's kind of how puppetry is all about. And to me, and my particular, recently, for a few years, and Matt too, we're kind of like starting, doing puppetry and all that. But oh my gosh, puppetry itself, it's such a huge responsibility, but it's, to those who do not know this, puppetry is a lot harder than you think of.
Oh yeah.
It
You
is
people have
wild, dude.
no
But
idea.
yeah, because compared to like just doing this and looking at, for example, you looking at Poppy or something like that, then imagine that Poppy just being do a whole show and you have to look in the monitor and then just do this and all that.
Yeah.
It's just
Exactly.
oh my gosh.
It's a whole nother ballgame, people.
And it
Yeah.
hurts. Like I remember
Yes.
we did like
Yes.
3 takes of the song, and I was like, oh my gosh, are puppeteers like so ripped? Like they must be so buff, because
Like you
this
gotta
is
stretch
like,
before you do any of that.
Yeah, you
Like,
get arm
so you
stretches.
can have, yes.
Arm stretches is the most
Yeah.
important thing.
It's
Yeah.
so huge responsibility,
beforehand.
but you do that with all of them, for for people, love what you're doing. That's so cool.
Do y'all have your own puppets?
I do.
I do, yes.
Yes, I do too. Which fine enough, I was going to bring them kind of like where we're about to done, or if you want us to show it now, or if we're kind of about to wrap up like a few questions.
Yeah. No, I'm just curious if like we want our puppets to just have a little conversation.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have three, if
Yeah.
you want to.
Yes,
I have
absolutely.
three. I have three. I guess I'll bring up my most known one.
I'll bring
Yes,
I'll
yes,
bring
yes,
mine.
I'm looking at you.
I'll get mine too.
Oh yes. Hello.
Yeah, shot. This is my turn. I'm not on the show anymore, but whatever.
Oh, hi everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Jeez,
Oh.
this feels weird. I haven't been on the show in so long. I don't think I've ever been on it just myself. This feels weird.
I'm having a bad hair day. How about you? Oh, your hair looks good.
Yeah, I've had worse, but it's all right.
Whew. Well, it's hard to just come straight onto a show. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Oh, I know.
just woke
yeah.
up. I just woke up.
Yeah.
Put me straight to work.
Yeah. Same here. Straight to work.
Oh wow. Oh my god.
Oh, there we go. There you are.
Hi,
Hey.
my name's Oh, whew. Look at all these friends.
Hello, Marty.
Hey,
Hello,
new
Puppy
friend.
Chris.
Hello,
Hey.
This is Carlo.
Puppy Chris.
Hi, Puppy. Hi, Puppy. It's good to meet you.
Hi. Yes.
Hi. Oh my
Lovely to meet
gosh,
you.
we have like the same colors. Look, you have yellow and purple, and me too.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yes, we do. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's great.
Whoa, that's cool.
That's great.
We might be related.
He might be.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you guys got sort of the same colors.
Yeah,
I mean,
I have
Yeah.
2 eyes too.
Me too.
yeah.
I don't have a nose, but if I did, it'd probably be purple.
Excellent choice.
Yeah, I can see that.
They were talking about Miss Rachel earlier. I get compared to Miss Rachel a lot. It is insane
Oh, yeah.
how
I've heard
how
about
many
that.
people compare me to Miss
Herbie?
Rachel's. Yeah, I
Herbie?
get compared to that quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, we're kind of related. I'd say we're related. Cousins,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, maybe distant cousins, you know?
Distant cousins. Yeah, I think. Yeah. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Mhm.
fascinating. I for a long time I was compared to Elmo a lot, which I could
Mhm.
see,
Mm.
Mhm.
monster, that kind of a thing. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Elmo's a
It's
great
fine.
guy. Elmo's great.
Love
Yes.
Elmo.
Yes.
Yes.
Love
Yes.
Elmo.
Almost is. Yes.
It was embarrassing. I forgot my arm rods, but
No,
It's
it's
okay.
all right.
That's okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's
It's
okay.
fine.
No
It's okay.
worries.
Try not to hit them.
I don't think we have no idea what arm rods is.
yeah.
Yeah, what are arm rods?
That's a good
I don't
question. I
know.
don't know.
I don't have mine. Whatever.
I don't know what they are.
Well, I'm honestly kind of sleepy, so I might go take another nap.
Okay, nice meeting you, Poppy.
All right. Nice
Okay,
meeting you,
Okay.
bye.
Poppy.
Nice
Bye,
to meet you
guys.
too, Puppy.
Bye.
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 See ya. I'll be out too. Bye.
Oh, that's nice.
Gotta love a puppet moment. I wonder like
Yes.
what that's gonna
I
be
don't
like for
think-
people
I
on the
don't think-
podcast.
I
I
know.
know.
I don't think we've ever done something like that.
We gotta keep
No,
that
we
in. We gotta
haven't.
keep that in.
Leave it
Yeah.
in. Leave it in.
We got to.
I don't.
Yeah.
I used to have. Come back here real quick, Marty. I used to have Marty with me, but that changed now, and I'm okay with it. It's the humans' show, not my show, their show. So I respect that. But
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
people we've had are
absolutely.
just amazing. Now I have a bad hair day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now on August 23rd, as we've talked a little bit about throughout the interview, you will be releasing your debut album, Jamming with Jules. Because, we've talked about what went into, the singles, and now you'll be releasing your first full-length album. Could you kind of tell our audience kind of what they can expect with this upcoming release?
Yeah, for sure. So, Jamming with Jules is 7 tracks, 20 minutes of fun. It's quick, you know. So kid songs are quick. It's kind of like a story arc. Like the first song is Jammin' with Jules, and I took a lot of inspiration from the shows I used to watch as a kid. So you can hear like Dragon Tales kind of
Dragon
music.
Tales. I love that show
Like
too.
so many like themes. And that was the purpose. Is I was like, I'm gonna write an intro song to the album that feels like my childhood and the songs that I still sing.
That's great.
You know?
That's great.
To keep it in nostalgia purpose for new generations. I love
mood.
that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's great.
So that was like the first song that opens us up, and we kind of move through a story arc of going to a garden to see caterpillars and butterflies. We get hungry. We have a pizza party. We take the train. We get crabby because it's been a long day. And sometimes after we're crabby, we cry. We cried out. And then the last song on the album is a lullaby to hopefully put kids to sleep, called Sleep and Dream. And I'm really hoping that people do listen to it in the entirety from start to finish as kind of like a way to be off the screen and bring kids into their imagination and kind of be like, yeah, look, 20 minutes, just listen to Jammin' with Jules and be ready for a nap or for bedtime by the end of it.
Nice.
That's wonderful. So where can people find you or stream this upcoming album?
Yeah, so the album will be available on all the major streaming platforms, even some of the more niche ones. It's just going to be wherever you get your music. It will also be in a physical form. We're going to have CDs and vinyl printed.
Nice. That's wonderful.
Sweet.
Again, the nostalgia.
Keep the vinyl things going.
Vinyl has been making a comeback like the last 5 years or so.
Now we're streaming and service and all that, and then vinyls. Keep it. Please,
it's
vinyls,
perfect.
please be here.
Exactly. And I think,
good.
that's like such a sweet way to also connect with kids. Like, hey, here's this CD or like this special thing that we're going to, it's like a whole process. It's like a ritual. Like, let's start this.
Yeah,
and
instead of just start listening to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Or like looking at a screen to be like,
have a more like simple way.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I'm kind of all about that. And so it'll definitely be available on, album and vinyl, CD and vinyl. And you can get that on my website, which is just jammingwithjules.com. Pre-sales are going to start August 6th. And then, I think that's about it. I guess if you want to find me on Instagram and stuff, you can, for Instagram and TikTok, it's at Jules Sings for Littles. But my artist name is Jules with an exclamation point. Like, Jules!
Yeah, right.
Yeah, awesome. I'm looking forward for the album whenever it's released later on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
So the last question that Jake is going to ask is a question we ask all of our guests at the end. Go ahead, Jake.
Thank you, Chris. So, of course, this podcast is called Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. When you think of nostalgia, what do you think of? In your own words, how would you define the word nostalgia?
Ooh. Man, nostalgia for me definitely represents my childhood. And it really represents this specific time in my childhood, maybe like 4th or 5th grade. Going over to friends' houses that had good snacks, playing Nintendo 64, playing basketball, getting into trouble around the neighborhood, walking around, making up things in your mind, and definitely watching a lot of TV. That was like my summer,
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes. Great word to end on.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yes, Jules, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. This is a blast. And again, for our viewers and listeners, Jules' album releases August 23rd. But yes, thank you, Jules, and thank you to our viewers and listeners for tuning in to another episode of Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show. And as always, what do we say, Jake?
Keep nostalgia alive. Take care, everyone. See you next time. Take care. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another wonderful Jake's Happy Nostalgia Show episode. Be sure to follow Jake and the Happy Nostalgia team on social media, check out our website, and stream the show wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And as always, remember to keep nostalgia alive. Bye-bye.